WNBA Finals opener is the most watched since league's inaugural year, I believe, in 1997. That means it took nearly 27 years to get to this point. 27 years to get to this point. So they started out on a high, and it's just been
1.9 million viewers. Historic ratings. Record-breaking night for women's basketball. There's just one problem. Nobody was talking about it. Welcome to the biggest rating scandal in WNBA history. What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into one of the most controversial stories in sports media right now. The WNBA just claimed their finals opener hit the highest viewership numbers in 28 years. ESPN threw a party. Headlines went wild. But within hours, fans started asking the question that changed everything. Wait, did anyone actually watch this game? By the end of this video, you're going to understand how modern sports ratings work, why this controversy matters way beyond basketball, and the one name that keeps coming up in every single conversation about the WNBA's future.
When are numbers not what the numbers are when you see them? Oh, sure feels like there might be some funny business going on. Is there a little nasty work going on behind the scenes? A little abracadabra bewitched action? Stephanie White knows this one. Yeah, she's conjuring up ratings for the Aces and the Mercury.
Let's get into it. So here's what happened. ESPN drops a press release celebrating the WNBA Finals Game 1. The numbers? 1.9 million viewers with a peak of 2.5 million. They're calling it the most watched Game 1 since 1997, the league's very first year. Think about that for a second. It took 27 years to get back to where they started, but still, on paper, this looked like a massive win. Social media flooded with celebration posts. League executives were probably popping champagne. This was supposed to be the moment that proved women's basketball had finally arrived. But then, nothing. No trending hashtags, no viral clips, no "did you see that shot" moments blowing up Twitter. Sports radio, crickets, ESPN's own debate shows, barely mentioned it.
1.9 million viewers with a peak of 2.5 million. ESPN scores most watched Game 1 of the WNBA Finals in 28 years, behind only 1997's single-game championship format.
Even hardcore WNBA fans were saying, wait, the finals started? One podcaster put it perfectly. Are these silent viewers? Because nobody's talking about this game. And that's when people started digging. Fans noticed something weird. Where were the official Nielsen ratings? Usually, Nielsen publicly releases all their data. But this time, only ESPN was talking. And here's the thing.
I saw these ratings and went, my first literal response, oh, that's bullshit. My first response, literally the first thing out of my mouth was, well,
ESPN isn't in the ratings business. They're a broadcaster. They have billions invested in making the WNBA look successful. So, when they're the only ones reporting these record-breaking numbers, yeah, people got suspicious. Let's do a reality check.
I'm waiting for the officials' Nielsen ratings. ESPN likes to do some funny math. You can't find those numbers anywhere else. Every AI lists ESPN as the source, not Nielsen. Last time I checked, ESPN isn't in the ratings business. They're reporting their own ratings. Why did it take so long to put this out? I'm suspicious. Amazing for a game that couldn't even sell out.
When a sporting event actually breaks records, what happens? The internet explodes. Think about the last time you saw a genuinely huge sports moment. It's everywhere, right? But this game, NASCAR had more online discussion. College football matchups nobody cares about had more Twitter engagement. Even fans scrolling through feeds packed with sports content found basically nothing about the WNBA finals. The numbers and the actual cultural impact didn't match at all. Then someone found the smoking gun buried in the fine print. In early 2025, Nielsen quietly rolled out a new system called Big Data Plus Panel. Sounds technical and boring, right? But here's what it actually means. Before this change, ratings measured people actively watching at home. Pretty straightforward. But now, they're counting out-of-home viewing. That TV playing in the corner of a sports bar? Counted. The screen at the airport gate? Counted. That gym with ESPN on in the background while you're on the treadmill? Counted. Even if you just walked past a screen showing the game for 3 seconds, you might be included in that 1.9 million viewers. Sports analysts started calling it statistical steroids. The game didn't change. The audience didn't explode. The counting method just got way more generous. And here's the kicker. ESPN's press release never mentioned this methodology change. They just took credit for historic growth without explaining that the measurement system itself had completely changed. One bar with 20 people could register as 20 viewers, even if only one person was actually paying attention. Multiply that across thousands of venues nationwide, and suddenly you've manufactured a record-breaking audience. Fans weren't having it. The phrase "counting ghosts" started trending. People demanded the actual Nielsen report with verification codes. They wanted transparency. Instead, silence from both ESPN and the WNBA. That silence looked more like damage control than celebration. Now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the person who wasn't even in the room but still dominated every conversation. Caitlin Clark. Even though she wasn't playing in these finals, her name kept coming up. Why? Because when you actually look at the real numbers, the authentic pre-methodology change numbers, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Caitlin Clark's first-round playoff game the previous season, 2.5 million viewers, higher than this historic finals opener. Her peak audience, 3.4 million. And remember, those numbers were before Nielsen's new counting system. Those were real people, actively tuning in to watch her play. Let that sink in. A rookie's first-round playoff game outdrew the championship finals. Want to know what WNBA ratings looked like before Caitlin? From 2015 to 2022, the finals barely moved. In 2019, they averaged just 238,000 viewers. That's not a typo. Less than 250,000 people. Games were buried on ESPN2. Sponsors were pulling back. The league was plateauing hard. Then Caitlin Clark happens. Suddenly, ratings nearly tripled. Regular season games people actually care about. Arenas selling out. The sports world paying attention. But here's what makes this whole ratings controversy so revealing. When her rookie season ended and she wasn't in the finals, the organic buzz disappeared. Yet somehow, the reported viewership was higher than ever. The WNBA wanted to sell a story about collective growth, about how the entire league was rising together. But the numbers tell a different story. They reveal a league heavily dependent on one player's star power. And look, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Every league has its superstars. The NBA had Michael Jordan. The NFL had Tom Brady. Star power drives interest. That's just how sports work. The problem isn't Caitlin Clark's dominance. The problem is the league pretending it doesn't exist while simultaneously benefiting from it. Here's where this gets really interesting. ESPN isn't just reporting on the WNBA, they're invested in it. They're one of the league's largest broadcast partners. When the WNBA looks strong, ESPN's investment looks smart. When it struggles, that partnership looks like a bad bet. So ESPN has a financial incentive to make the numbers look good. They need to show growth to advertisers and investors. The WNBA needs validation to attract sponsors and justify expansion. By reporting inflated numbers under the cover of new data methods, both sides got what they wanted, at least temporarily. But here's the cost: credibility. Once fans realize the numbers are inflated, they start doubting everything. Attendance figures? Suspicious. Sponsorship claims? Questionable. Even legitimate growth gets viewed through a lens of skepticism. Trust takes years to build and seconds to destroy. And right now, the WNBA is learning that lesson the hard way. This incident sparked a bigger conversation in sports media. Should networks that profit from broadcasting leagues be allowed to report their own ratings? If ESPN benefits financially from high numbers, how can anyone trust them to publish objective data? Most analysts agree. They can't. There's a fundamental conflict of interest. So, what's the takeaway here? The WNBA tried to manufacture a success story, and it backfired spectacularly. What was meant to show strength only highlighted weakness. What was supposed to prove collective growth only proved individual brilliance. Caitlin Clark isn't just boosting viewership. In many ways, she is the viewership. And until the league embraces that truth with honesty and transparency, every claim of record success will ring hollow. But this story matters beyond basketball. It's about how modern media can shape perception, how data can be manipulated to tell whatever story you want, how conflicts of interest create distorted narratives. In an era of fake news, accusations, and media skepticism, incidents like this only make things worse. People are already primed not to trust institutions. When major sports networks get caught playing fast and loose with data, it reinforces that distrust. The WNBA doesn't need manipulated statistics. It needs honesty. It needs to embrace its stars rather than downplay them. It needs to build trust with fans through transparency, not trick them with clever accounting. Because here's the truth: real growth doesn't need inflation. Authentic success doesn't need spin. And no amount of creative data collection can replace genuine connection between fans and the game they love. What do you think? Are these ratings inflated, or is this just the WNBA finally getting its due? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into sports controversies the mainstream media won't cover, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.